Let's be honest, when you think of laundry, you probably just think of it as a chore, right? But inside that spinning drum, there's a quiet revolution going on. It's a mix of chemistry, biology, and some pretty slick engineering that's totally changing how we get things clean.
I mean, on the surface, it feels like one of the simplest tasks we do. For decades, the basic idea really hasn't changed all that much. Or has it? You know, we tend to take this whole process for granted. But as we're about to see, there's so much more to it than meets the eye.
Because, way beyond our laundry rooms, there's been this massive shift happening. We're talking from huge industrial factories all the way down to the tiny microchips inside our home machines. The whole science of clean is getting a serious upgrade. And it all starts with something a lot of us use, but very few of us actually understand: dry cleaning.
Yeah, we drop off our nice clothes, we trust they'll come back looking perfect. But the traditional way of doing things, it has a pretty dark side. And it all boils down to one very powerful and very problematic chemical. Meet perchloroethylene, or PERC for short. Now this stuff is incredibly good at dissolving oils and grease without messing up delicate fabrics. That's exactly why it became the go-to for the entire industry. But even though it's everywhere, there are some really serious questions about what it's doing to our health and to the planet.
And here's why those questions are so serious. Back in 1991, U.S. dry cleaners used about 270 million pounds of PERC. Out of that, an estimated 180 million pounds were just released straight into the atmosphere. I mean, that is a staggering amount of a chemical solvent just entering our environment year after year.
And the problems just keep piling up. Health agencies say we should treat it as a probable carcinogen. It's a known contaminant for groundwater. And get this, one study found that after 100 days, only about 40% of the PERC trapped in your clothes had even evaporated. The waste it creates is so bad, it's officially regulated as hazardous. So yeah, we clearly needed a better way. And here it is. The alternative is called professional wet cleaning. So instead of a toxic solvent, it uses really sophisticated machines with just water and biodegradable detergents. It uses less energy, it doesn't have to deal with all those hazardous waste rules, and it completely eliminates the health risks from PERC. It's a total game changer, really, moving from a harsh chemical process to one based on water. Now, this shift from harsh, brute force methods to smarter ones isn't just a dry cleaning thing. Let's take a look at another huge process: making that perfect, soft, worn-in pair of jeans you love. Turns out, getting that look used to be a surprisingly brutal process. So starting back in the 70s, the way to get that stonewashed look was, well, literal. Manufacturers would just tumble jeans in giant washing machines with a bunch of pumice stones. The rocks would literally beat up the denim, scraping off the indigo dye and softening the fabric. I mean, it worked, but wow, is it harsh and inefficient.
I mean, the difference is just night and day. Stonewashing absolutely wrecks the machines. It can tear up the jeans themselves. It takes a ton of manual labor just to get the little rocks out of the pockets, and it creates this nasty sludge in the wastewater. The new way? It's all about biology.
Yep. Instead of rocks, modern factories use enzymes, specifically something called cellulase enzymes that go in and break down the cellulose in the cotton fibers. They're like these tiny little biological Pac-Man just nibbling away at the dye on a molecular level. You get that same great worn-in look, but it's done gently and with incredible precision. No damage, just smart science.
Okay, so we've seen these huge shifts in industry, but these exact same ideas, efficiency, intelligence, they're also transforming the washing machine right in your own home.
Think about the old-school top-loading washer, the one with the big agitator in the middle. It's basically just a giant tub that has to fill completely with water. We're talking up to 45 gallons. That's about 170 liters for just one load. That's basically like giving your clothes a bath. It's a massive amount of water.
And here's the difference in action. Instead of filling that entire drum up, high-efficiency or HE washers use just a little bit of water in the bottom. They work by gently tumbling the clothes through that concentrated mix of water and detergent, instead of just submerging and beating them around.
The benefits here are just huge. HE machines slash water usage by more than half. And of course, less water means less energy needed to heat it. That tumbling action is also way gentler on your clothes, and their super fast spin cycles pull out so much more water, which means less time and energy spent in the dryer. It's a win-win-win.
And the innovation doesn't even stop there. Now we're seeing the rise of steam. By shooting hot vapor into the drum, these machines can sanitize fabrics, kill off dust mites and bacteria, and get this, dramatically reduce wrinkles. It's another brilliant example of getting a better result with less. Less harshness, fewer chemicals, and, hey, maybe even less ironing.
Okay, so we're saving water, we're saving energy, but what about the soap itself? Turns out, most of us have been getting this totally wrong for years.
Oh, you've totally done this. I know I have. You just kind of eyeball the cap, maybe pour in a little extra if the load seems really dirty. But the truth is, we are consistently using way too much detergent, and that can leave residue on our clothes and, of course, it just wastes money.
But the impact of getting it right is pretty significant. Smart systems that can automatically dose the detergent can save, on average, 38% of the soap you'd normally use. That is a massive saving over the life of a machine, both for your wallet and, for the planet.
And the tech that does this is just brilliantly simple for the user. Systems like IDOS have these reservoirs that you just fill up every once in a while. Then, for every single load, sensors actually weigh the laundry and detect how dirty it is, and then they dispense the exact right amount of detergent right down to the milliliter. This also saves up to 10 liters of water because the machine doesn't need to do extra rinse cycles to get rid of all that excess soap. So when you kind of put all these pieces together, the evolution of laundry is really a story of progress. It's about moving away from brute force and harsh chemicals and moving towards solutions that are intelligent, precise, and way more sustainable.
I mean, we went from literally beating our jeans with rocks in the 70s to a world where our machines are using smart sensors and biological helpers to clean better and more gently than ever before. Now, yeah, some of those old, harmful methods are still around, but the path forward is pretty clear. It's all about smart tech.
Really, this quiet revolution happening in your laundry room is a small part of a much bigger trend. It's all about replacing wasteful, potentially harmful methods with targeted, efficient, smart technology that just does a better job, with way fewer resources.
And from here, the possibilities are just fascinating to think about. We've optimized water, we've optimized energy and detergents. So what's the final frontier? Maybe it's getting rid of the main ingredient altogether. What if the laundry machine of, say, 2050 uses no water at all?